What's the word, my well-read ballers? Welcome back to Thug Notes Get Lit, where we keep you informed on the #1 scene with the ladies, classic literature. I'm Sparky Sweets, PhD from Thug Notes, your wingman and guide to the most top-shelf literary analysis in existence. So let's do this, players! This week, we're counting down 5 famous books banned for being too damn real. You won't find these paperbacks in your school library, so step into the back room with me to get the DL on some of the nastiest, stankiest, most notorious books ever written. Number 5, The 120 Days of Sodom by the Marquis de Sade. For those of you unfamiliar with the Marquis de Sade, dude was a slick player who managed to not get murked during the French Revolution, despite being one of them high-born fancy types. How did he do it? By cranking out some of the dirtiest porn in history while doing time in a nut house. Respect. The Marquis was so hardcore that his most famous work, The 120 Days of Sodom, reads like a mixtape of the raunchiest rap lyrics ever. This shit's foul. The scene is a castle in 18th century Europe where 4 crusty French dudes brutally torture 16 kids for months, including 4 of their own daughters. Believe me, man, this is the kind of shit you need an exorcist to get out of your head. It's easy to talk smack about the Marquis being more up than Saw 6. Hell, the word sadism comes from Sade. The brother put the S in BDSM. Ooh, the pain! That said, the more you read 120 Days of Sodom, the more you realize there's more to it than sex and torture. Remember, the man was a player in the French Revolution, so all the villains in Sodom got power. A noble, a banker, a bishop, and even a president. Damn! Surprised that the Marquis spent half his life in a slammer? I'm not. We see these upper-class haters take a dump in a chapel and feed their to their victims. I'm talking real doo-doo. Ugh. Sound familiar? Could these teenagers they torture be the starving, suffering children of France? Or perhaps even from your country today? 120 Days of Sodom paints a picture that's all sorts of up. But maybe that's the point. De Sade knew what it's like to be shat on by the top 1%. Hell, we all do. All he did was capture it in a way that makes readers wise up to the show they all in, be it back then or right now. Number 4, My Secret Garden by Nancy Friday. My Secret Garden is a book about what it means to be a woman. And by that, I mean it's a kinky collection of crazy that all the honeys thinking when they want to get their freak nasty on. Back in the 70s, Nancy Friday took out an ad in the paper asking her fellow sisters to tell her what gets them off. Damn, Nancy, it kind of makes you wonder if this was the moment that Craigslist was invented. Ladies from across the country answered Miss Friday's call, and faster than Superman in the bedroom, they sent her letters detailing how they like to get down. My Secret Garden is the greatest hits of these letters, and man, you won't believe how dirty these women were. We're talking tales about masturbation, bondage, cheating on their hubbies, having group sex with strangers, family members, and even the kind of that would land your ass in a slammer for reasons you know I don't need to get into. Oh man, that's the GOAT. The Cambridge History of the American Novel described My Secret Garden as the first comprehensive exploration of women's fantasies. And while that may sound like that only applies to bad girls, in Nancy's own words, of course I fantasize. Doesn't everyone? Yeah, you go, girl. Nancy's It's All Good approach to sex ed is like a tall glass of water. It chills you out, it's empowering, it strips your ass naked and stands you in front of a mirror. Are you as full of kinks as these ladies? If so, then keep them coming, Miss Friday. We gotta work these kinks out of our system. Number 3, The Anarchist Cookbook by William Powell. The Anarchist Cookbook is a do-it-yourself guide for sticking it to the man. And by the man, we mean the vilest of them all, President Job Sucker Richard Milhouse Nixon.
Well, I'm not a crook.
This nasty little number gives you the lowdown on everything from making drugs and explosives to committing sabotage. Whoa, that's some Fight Club level right there. This is the kind of book you don't want the feds catching you checking out from your library, which is sad since it also comes strapped with the insights of what the U.S. looked like through the eyes of a 70s rebel. It's some radical for sure. But check out how he mixes things up by adding a dash of national pride to the text. I do not particularly like any form of government, but if the majority of the people seem to think they are incapable of governing themselves and want a government, then I think the principles the United States was born with are about the best there are. You hear that? Even the author of the Anarchist Cookbook thought we got the best damn government on the planet. Powell has since found Jesus and disowned his book, saying violence can't be used to prevent violence. I don't know about you folks, but that hits me hard where I live, since it provides a happy ending for the most prominent character in the Anarchist Cookbook, America. Just make sure you watch your ass if you buy a copy. Powell warned this book is not for children or morons, so don't be one. You heard? Number 2, Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. Lolita is a sweet story about love at first sight. Too bad the guy in question is in his 30s and the little lady he's eyeballing is 12. What? As you may have guessed, our main man Humbert finds himself in a world of once he tries to get it on with his criminally underage nymphet Lolita. First, he marries her mother, Charlotte, just to get closer to Lolita. When Charlotte dies, he takes her jailbait daughter on a road trip. There's nothing illegal about it until Humbert and Lolita roll up to a hotel and play hide the salami. Ugh. That's when it becomes the kind of story you hear about on the 10 o'clock news, complete with kidnapping and murder. Lolita may be one of the most notorious novels ever written, but it's loaded with more layers than a Kanye West album. According to Vladimir Nabokov, the book is packed with secret points, the subliminal coordinates by means of which the book is plotted. Sweet! It's like a treasure hunt only for your head. So what flashy bling did Nabokov secretly stash in his novel? Quite a lot from the sound of it. Just listen to how it opens. Lolita, light of my life, fire of my loins, my sin, my soul. Lolita, the tip of the tongue taking a trip of 3 steps down the palate to tap. At 3, on the teeth. Lolita. That there is a righteous flow, and that was just the first few lyrics. Of course, Brother Humbert doesn't mention Lolita's age, or how he's a horn dog, or how he's the kind of killer that won't last 5 minutes when thrown in a slammer. Those goods is hidden, and they'll stay buried if you judge Lolita by Humbert's fancy words. As a book, Lolita's true beauty is something within, as the ladies say. Just don't be a dick by poking around the wrong hole, know what I'm saying? Number 1, Story of the Eye by George Bataille. Story of the Eye was written by French philosophizer George Bataille, who famously jerked off in front of his dead mama while his pregnant wifey slept in the next room. Yeah, that really happened. Story of the Eye is everything you should expect from an author with that kind of street cred. It follows 2 teenagers, a nameless narrator, and his girlfriend Simone trying to figure out just how freaky they get in the sack. Their journey starts with some PG-13 sex on the beach, but before you know it, the story jumps straight to Simone shoving hard-boiled eggs up her incubator. What? The narrator and his girlfriend Simone sure do push the limits with their sex play. They be swapping liquids, doing the dirty with other kids, and even decide to bump fuzzies next to their friend's Marcel's corpse. Oh, hell no. By the end of the story, our whacked out couple watch a man get gored in a Spanish bullfight, seduce a priest, tear him to pieces, and then skip town on a yacht destined for what I can only guess is more freaky sex. While I'll be the first to say that Bataille was a few French fries short of a Happy Meal, there may be something deeper to the story of the eye. For once, there are quite a few eyeballs in the story, including one that gets an intimate glimpse of Simone's insides. Was this Bataille's way of telling us to take a closer look at the story? Maybe Story of the Eye is just a tale of how Bataille had a raging hard-on for death. Hell, the man rubbed one off on his dead mama. And the French expression for orgasm, petit mort, literally translates into little death. I ain't playing. If busting a nut gives you a little death, then perhaps Bataille's idea of a money shot is a thick wad of death, especially since this story got a lot of sex, but not a lot of baby making. Was this Bataille's way of saying that his brand of porn ain't got nothing to do with reproduction? Or maybe that porn itself is lifeless? You can't grow a baby or hatch an egg out of Story of the Eye after all. It's just a book. Lifeless, loveless, and weird as hell. Just like that nasty-ass porn your grandma reads. When you think about it, it's almost sad that George Bataille didn't live to see the internet. He basically wrote the book on Rule 34. That's all we got for today, players. If you want to learn more about how f***ed up the world is, just ask your local librarian. Be sure to stop back for more Thug Notes Get Lit. Keep your reading game strong, my intellectual ballers. Peace. This is a Wisecrack production.